Hello, welcome to Z Gadget Review. Kotaku has an interview with Phil Spencer. I will recommend you to go read it. It has a lot of information. I will include the link in the description section so you can do that if you want to. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is Halo Infinite. He was asked about Halo Infinite. As you know, Halo Infinite was delayed until 2021. We don't have a release date. I think, in my opinion, that is going to be holiday 2021. And I feel that that's going to be the case more than before based on this. So he was asked about Halo Infinite, to get us an update on the game. He said that he had played the game a week before the date that they had the interview. He said that he didn't have any updates on it. He actually didn't have any updates on Everwild or the new Fable or the Microsoft Flight Simulator. When those will be released, he had no information to provide on those titles. But then he was asked if he will consider releasing Halo Infinite single player separately from the multiplayer. And this is the answer that he gave. Bonnie Ross, head of the Halo franchise, and the team will go drive those decisions, Spencer said. But I think we want to make sure people feel like they have a Halo experience. I think we can look at options like that. He said any decisions like that will have to factor in the structure of the game and the story it's telling. So yeah, I think that that's something to think about, but we want to make sure we do it right. So that's not a no and that's not a yes, that's a maybe, right? Do I think Halo Infinite will release campaigns separate from multiplayer? No. That would be a really dumb idea. That is something that they already did with Crackdown 3. They had the single player separate from the multiplayer, and I don't think that went very well. Granted, Crackdown's multiplayer wasn't as good as a Halo multiplayer experience is. So, two different things. But at the same time, Halo has lore and history and a story to tell and a bunch of things that go tied with the multiplayer. From what we heard, Halo Infinite is going to be a game that's going to continue on. So there's not going to be a Halo Infinite 2, Halo Infinite 3, and so on. Halo Infinite is going to be a game that evolves with time, is what they've explained. And it's going to be kind of open world game. So I imagine that because of that, the multiplayer will be tied more with the campaign than any other Halo game has before. So because of those reasons, I think that that's not going to happen. I think that because they have to retool the story again and they hire somebody to do that and all these things, that this game isn't going to see the light of day until holiday 2021 because they need time to polish and to make all these things better, right? Based on reports. Now on to Bethesda. So as we know, they bought Cinemax, which is a parent company for Bethesda, its software and all these other studios for $7.5 billion. So of course they had to talk about it, and this is the exchange between Todd Halo and Phil Spencer. Is it possible to recoup $7.5 billion investment if you don't sell Elder Scrolls 6 on the PlayStation? Yes, Spencer quickly replied. Then he paused. I don't want to be flip about that, he added. This deal was not done to take games away from another player base like that. Nowhere in the documentation that we put together was, how do we keep other players from playing these games? We want more people to be able to play games, not fewer people to be able to play games. But I'll also say in the model, I'm just answering directly the question that you had. When I think about where people are going to be playing and the number of devices that we had, and we have xCloud and PC and Game Pass and our console base. I don't have to go ship those games on any other platform other than the platforms that we support in order to kind of make the deal work for us, whatever that means. What does this mean? This means that Microsoft has obviously run the numbers, right? Microsoft doesn't go and just, throw $7.5 billion into a studio and goes like, hey, if we make the money, we make it. If we don't, we don't. Of course, they run the numbers, and they have figured, as he says, that they could just put out games within their ecosystem in order to make up their investment and make some money going forward. And of course, he reiterated that, again, games are going to be decided in a case by case basis. He did say again that any contractual agreements will be honored. That's why Deathloop is going to the PS5 first as a time exclusive and then to the Xbox. But obviously, this again tells us that Microsoft isn't in the business of the console anymore, right? As we know, they are moving away from that. The console is just one of the things that they have in their arsenal in order to make their ecosystem work. And the thing is that they don't have to put the game on PS5. And they don't have to force you to buy an Xbox either, as many people are saying, well, now you gotta buy an Xbox. Well, you don't have to buy an Xbox. All you have to do is sign up for Game Pass. Game Pass will give you access to xCloud. If right now all Game Pass games are available to stream on xCloud, then that means that any game going forward on Game Pass will be available to stream on xCloud. Because all they gotta do is say, especially for people that swear that they're never ever going to buy an Xbox because, death to Xbox and whatever, like the PlayStation fanboys. Then they can say, fine, don't buy the Xbox. We don't need you to buy the Xbox, but you can just pay the $10, $15 a month that the Game Pass service costs you, and you can play it on your phone, or you can play it on your computer. Because also, Sony isn't the only game, and you have obviously the Switch, now you have Stadia, and you have Luna. But I don't see Microsoft putting their games in those platforms either because they don't have to. And if Microsoft is going to be competing with Stadia, I mean, if you can call that a competition, and Luna, which hasn't come out yet, then eventually they're going to have to open their services to more devices. And of course, right now you can play it on your phone and nowhere else, or I guess a tablet if you have a tablet. But eventually they're going to have to open it to a computer as well. If you want to play xCloud, you can probably play on your computer because obviously computers, not everybody has a computer that can run a game. And so eventually they're going to have to do that. And let's say that they do put the game out for the PS5, right? It doesn't mean that it's going to come out on the same day that the game comes out on Xbox. The game can be a time exclusive for the Xbox and eventually come out to the PS5. But when it comes out to the PS5, you're going to have to pay $70 for that game. Or they're going to say, you can pay us $15 a month or $10 a month, whatever the price of Game Pass is at that moment, and play the game. And of course, you can cancel Game Pass at any time. But for that $10, $15 you're paying a month, you get all these other games, not just the one game. At the end of the day, it is a business, and the business is there to make money. Let me know, do you think that this is something that PS5 should be worried about, that Sony should be worried about, that these games might not make it to their console? Or do you think it's something that, hey, makes sense that Microsoft will be doing something like this because they want to make their money, which to me makes sense? Go ahead and let me know in the comment section. That's it for me. Go ahead and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, it really helps the channel. Hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos, and thank you very much for watching.